Oh, it's on now. Hey, welcome back to the channel. We're finally ready to start on the engine itself. We're going to take this side shaft assembly off and inspect it, clean it up, and then inspect some gears that are inside of here, and then get the crankcase and the cylinder ready to paint. So in this video we're going to take this side shaft off, but let's go over what each part of the side shaft does. Okay, well, we'll get started here in a minute taking this side shaft off, but I thought I'd go through what it actually does on this engine. These Moguls had what they called a side shaft. Obviously it's a shaft that runs down the side of the engine. It does several things. First, it runs an eccentric for the fuel pump, and then it runs the governor, and this is the governor linkage that runs through the water hopper and then out the front, and that's what controls the speed of the engine with the mixer. And then also it sets your speed range with this collar here. You can turn this and set the speed range. Top speed on this engine would have been 450 RPM. And I see that somebody used a pipe wrench on this shaft for some reason. I don't know why they did that. Some of this stuff people do, you just can't make up. I don't know why they do it. And then this piece here is a detent that lowers the compression by changing the valve timing so you can start it. We're going to have to repair this broken piece here and get this freed up. Here's the cams, the intake and the exhaust camshafts, or cam lobes. Here's the front of the side shaft is held by the magneto bracket, and there's another eccentric that goes out here that runs the magneto and the ignition. So this shaft does quite a few things, and we'll see what shape it's in and get it all freed up and get it off the engine now. Okay, thought I'd go over my process here before we get started, make a couple other notes here. This is an early Mogul. It's 1914. So it should have, I believe, a drip oiler here and one here and one down here. Also, this magneto bracket, I don't know if you can see that, it's welded. So we're going to have to check that out, make sure that's all square. And also, this governor linkage here has got a bolt in it, and that bolt is not correct. It should be a dowel pin with cotter keys on it, and it should be very tight. It's very loose. One thing about these Moguls, this governor is very precise, regulates speed very well. That's why Moguls were used for power generation and line shaft powering. But if you have slop and linkage like this, it's going to make the engine surge around and not regulate speed very well. There's other things that can affect the speed as well. We'll go through that as they come up in this restoration. But what we're going to do is there's a bolt in the front down under here that we'll take out, and I've got it strapped up here to kind of hold this weight a little bit because the shaft is rather heavy. And then this all this structure here unbolts, and then the side shaft should slide out away from the crankshaft. Then we should be able to get it off of there. So anyway, well, let's start taking it apart. Little different video wrap up today. Got the two side shaft here. I've got two of them. One is off of another engine. It's here in the back, and we'll talk about it in a minute. It's really damaged, but it does have a part that this other one does not have, and I need to take it apart to look at it. This shaft here is the one off of our engine. It's been painted, primed, and that's not correct for a lot of these surfaces. This area here shouldn't be painted. I think this is why the detent doesn't work right. It doesn't slide because it's got primer under it. Obviously this is going to have to be repaired here, welded up and then cleaned up, and I'm going to have to disassemble this back part here. This eccentric's got to come off because I need this gear off so I can get the shaft out of this assembly, because there's a bushing in here that is missing. We'll see if I can hold the camera and do this, but it's loose in there. You can see that movement, and that's wrong. There should be two bushings in there. One of them is in there, the other one is not, and I'm gonna have to take it apart and make a bushing. That's why I've got this other one here, because it has both bushings in it. So I'm gonna get it apart so I can pattern off of those bushings. And this keyway here, this key is actually loose in this gear. I tapped it and it moved, so that's good. This one is not. It's a little hard to see. Maybe I can get a light here. But that's been mashed, and it's been put in backwards because there's a housing that goes over this like this to run on that eccentric, and it shouldn't have the tail of the keyway sticking out. It should come in from this way. So whoever put that in there put it in backwards. Probably the same person that beat this shaft up with a monkey wrench and broke this piece here. Probably the same person. So anyway, we've got a little work to do here. The way I usually do this kind of stuff is I'll be working on this a little bit, soaking and coming up with ideas on how to get it apart without breaking it, and to be working on other parts of the engine at the same time. And so it's just going to be a process, and I'll film as much as I can on the disassembly. This piece here goes out in the front. It sets like this. The magneto sets on this top plate up here. This has a bearing in it that's poured in place. It's a Babbitt bearing, lead Babbitt. It seems to be in good shape. I don't think I'll have to mess with that piece too much, other than just cleaning it up. But a lot of work here, and we'll keep moving forward. I did get some news from the foundry that my pistons are cast, and they will be shipping back probably Monday, so I'll probably get them Friday or the following Monday. So that's good. We'll have a video on what a rough casting looks like, and then some machining work on that. So anyway, thanks for watching, and subscribe and like if you like what's going on here, and see you in the next video.